Man, I don't know what happened in Delaware today, but it is like 75. I'm hot, sweaty, and today we're talking about Dragon Link, which is so busted and so good. And do you know this card is so expensive right now? So expensive. It's actually ridiculous what Dragon Link can do. I mean, if you don't have 2 hand traps against Dragon Link, it's full combo. And this deck can play through hand traps and set the same board, and it's just insane with infinite follow-up, and it's insane. They didn't ban LP, and so we're gonna go and test Dragon Link and get you the profile so I can show you some combos, I can show you some different ways to get that same inboard that you're looking for with Dragon Link, which involves Chamber Dragon Maid and the insane trap that even allows you to beat Dark Ruler and Droplet. So let's go check out this profile. All right, guys, let's get into the deck profile. This is the 40 card build. So we are gonna start it off with 3 Chamber Dragon Maids. I think Chamber Dragon Maid is a very good card, and you wanna make sure that, I felt like running it at 2, I ran out of, off the trap and banishing and summoning, I kind of ran out of them. And obviously reoccurring the trap is very important in this build. So I like running 3 Chamber Dragon Maids at 3. I think it plays very well. And then as well, you have the 3 traps because the trap is just literally so good. You don't want to not run it at 3. I know when the chamber was introduced to Dragon Link, a lot of people ran the trap at 2, but as you can see, it's really blossoming into a 3 card must have in the Dragon Link deck. On top of that, we play 2 Seyferts. Seyferts is a great card. It's a great extender in the deck. It also has the graveyard effect where it reoccurs itself and puts back a level 8 monster back into your hand. So it can shuffle, it can recycle your Chaos Ruler, it can recycle Borrelsword, recycles back Levianeer. So obviously, if you guys don't know, what Chamber does is when it's summoned, special or normal, you can search the trap. And when the trap is in the grave, you can banish it to summon another Chamber. So that's that. For a couple extenders, play 1 Absorouter, 1 Noctovision. Absorouter, obviously, to get a Tracer into your hand, and Noctovision for extension. And also, Noctovision's second effect, which is a back row protection. So what Noctovision does, if it's in the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate that effect if it targets a face-down card you control. So if they activate an effect that targets a face-down, aka your trap, you can banish this. And when it's used as link material, you can draw a card. So it's just great extension there. Play the black and the white dragon, obviously for extension, easy combo there. And then we play Omni Dragon with the Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Chaos is kind of like almost your secondary boss monster. It just does so much between popping cards on the field, ripping card from your opponent's hand. So Chaos Dragon is definitely a great card in this deck. Then we play for the Rokket package, we play 2 Tracers. Tracer, obviously, you can see in the combo, it's very important. Make sure you get that thing out sooner than later because you want to reoccur it. We play 1 Recharger. Recharger is an awesome card that you can pop Striker, add Recharger to hand, discard it to special summon any Dark Dragon out of your graveyard. So that's really good. 2 Synchrons. Synchron is actually really good, and actually, Synchron is really good to have in the hand at your end phase, and I like having it in my hand because next turn, let's say they get over my Borrelsword, they get over my Borreload Savage, any of those cards, what I can do is if I normal summon Synchron, I can special summon a Dark Dragon. So I have actually special summoned Borrelsword back to my field by normal summoning Synchron because it's Dark Dragon and that's what it can do. For your field spells, we're going to play 1 Boot Sector and 1 Ravine, and then one of the better cards in the deck here, 3 Chaos Space is a must-have. Chaos Space you discard and then add a different attribute. Most of the time you're going to grab your white and black dragons off this for extension. Then you have your 3 Quick Launch, which one is stuck there. So Quick Launch obviously special summons a Rokket and enables you to extend further. Not once per turn either, so great there. And then we're going to play... Let me just see here. Here it is. We're going to play 3 World Legacy Guard Dragons. I know I've said before in my, I think it was my February profile, I played 2 World Legacies with 1 Monster Reborn, but you got to play this at 3. You want to see it. This lets you move your guard dragon, LP or Pisty, to be able to activate their effects, because then the thing with that is you have to have a link spot that 2 link monsters point to. So World Legacy Guard Dragon, not only does it special summon from your grave, or adds a card to hand, but it also moves a monster on the field to a different position. So broken extender, honestly, really good. And you can also bounce this with Hieratic Seal, add it back to your hand for next turn, so then you can special summon and extend again. So really good hand. And honestly, that is the Dragon Link package. The rest of it is hand traps, which you can change to your liking. We play the Gamma package, 3 Gamma, 1 Driver. Play 3 Ash Blossom. And then Tech Spot, just because it's back in the format and it's so good, 3 Phantasmes to let you overextend, draw more cards, see more of your cards, and also it can negate something that targets. So Phantasme, super good there. So that's the 40 card main deck. For the extra deck, we're going to run 3 Striker Dragons. You have to run this at 3 now. It's very important. You're going to go through them in a match, so you want to make sure you have it. 2 just does not work anymore. If you're using its effect to pop itself to add back recharge or do different things, you got to run it at 3. Also for extension with LP and different ways like that. Speaking of, your LP and your Pisty, not banned, still broken. Link 2s, we have 2 Hieratic Seals. Seal, a really good card. I mean, a great inboard is literally Seal, Savage, and the Trap set. And it's just going to break so many hands. It's insane. That's all you need with this deck. 1 Quad Boral for its effect. It can pop and then special summon rockets from the graveyard. 1 Romulus, which is what you're going to search Ravine off of. 1 Hulk if you need to get into Tracer or any of your tuners, your Synchron. And then for my other Link 2, this is kind of a flex. I know, there's a lot of different options here. You could play Appaloosa, you can play Saruja, you can play Unchained. I don't like Saruja because it's not that combo anymore where you're going into 4 monsters to draw. And I also feel like Appaloosa, I don't run it because it's a wind. And if I use Tracer's effect early, I can't special summon it. I just don't like that. So I choose to run Dill. I think Dill is just a really good card. If you don't know what Dill does, once per turn during your opponent's in phase, you can target 1 attack monster during your opponent controls it did not declare an attack this turn, destroy it. If you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. If a rocket monster is special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So great extender. You can also pop Dill off of Tracer, and that can save your boot sector launch, because I like to keep boot sector launch on as long as I can because it's so good. So I play Dill. And then your boss monster, Boral Sword. And then to go into your synchros, you got the Savage Dragon, you got the Chaos Ruler, and you have Hot Red. So that is the extra deck that I play. We are going to get into some combos, but first I just wanted to mention one thing, which is in your side deck. Make sure to have Kokimiro Drago in. What this does, you can summon this off of Seal, and your opponent cannot summon light or dark monsters. So if you're playing any decks that are heavy dependent on that, you can, like for example, Alistair, you can't summon Alistair with this card. So keep that in mind if you want that for your side deck. So let's get into a couple combos. They're long and lofty, but I'm going to try to show you the best I can as to how this deck plays. All right, guys, we will do test hand number 1 with this Dragon Link deck. Dragons are a very intricate deck. I think it takes a high level of skill to play them because there's so many cards involved. And there's so many different ways to play it. There isn't really a hand that you open that's like the combo for Dragon Link. It's very different. It changes regularly, and it's all dependent on what you open. So let's see what we can get out of our first hand. Quick Launch, Chaos Space, which is great. Tracer, Dragon Ravine, and Chamber Dragon Maid. I swear Dragon Ravine just loves me. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do here, we want to activate Chaos Space to get into our Guard Dragons. I hate to pitch one of these, to be honest with you, but we will Chaos Space, pitch Tracer, and then what that's going to do is that will search our White Dragon. And we also have access to Tracer through Quick Launch, so it's not the end of the world there. Next thing that we're gonna do, we will banish Tracer, because we can bring him back on Pisty, and then we will bring out White Dragon, link white dragon off for our striker dragon. And we're gonna chain 1 white, chain 2 striker. So striker's gonna add boot. And then we'll grab the black dragon. Now we're gonna banish the white dragon here to summon the black dragon. And before we do anything, we're gonna go ahead and activate Chaos Space, which is gonna banish itself to put white dragon back at the bottom of the deck, and it's gonna allow us to draw a card. So don't forget that, because then you're gonna grab white dragon off and you could pitch it off of Dragon's Ravine, you could pitch it off of, you know, whatever you may want to do there. So we're gonna put white dragon at the bottom of the deck, we draw one, we draw our second tracer, which actually is good. Now we're gonna go ahead and link these two off into a seal. And then we're gonna get Black Dragon's effect, which is then gonna add us back our White Dragon to hand. So now we've got seal, we have access to our trap, and we still have 6 cards in hand, which is absolutely insane, just insane. This is a pitch card, boot sector, obviously, to bring out there. So let's go ahead and activate our Ravine. We're gonna activate it, we'll pitch our White Dragon. Then we're gonna send Apsarautor to grave, and then Apsarautor effect's gonna activate. We're gonna grab Synchron here. And that's just gonna be for further extension. Now going off, we can activate Boot Sector. Boot Sector effect can special out Tracer and Synchron. We will link Tracer off for LP, and we can link Synchron off for Striker. Now we're gonna activate LP's effect. And I always think here, you know, when I go for Omni off of this play right here, I always want to think to myself, okay, so what's my inboard am I looking for here? Because Omni, I'm gonna have to pitch one of these two. So if I go Omni, I'll pitch one of these two. I don't necessarily think that I want to, because I want Chamber. I still haven't normal summoned. And Quick Launch is actually kind of dead right now because I've gone through all my Rokket engine because I did open it. So Omni wouldn't be a bad card to grab and to pitch Quick Launch off, as crazy as that sounds. But it's only because I have Tracer banished, the second Tracer there. I have Synchron. And the only thing I'm missing is Recharger, which I can get off of Tracer. So let's just look through our options real quick. We could bring out another Chamber Dragon Maid, which isn't a bad idea, because we could do that. But let's just go ahead and grab, I think what I would want to grab here, honestly, is going to be Omni. And I'm going to activate Omni's effect. I'm actually going to sing Quick Launch. And then that's going to add us a 11 a year to hand. We still haven't even normal summoned. Now what we're going to do is we're going to activate Striker's effect. We're going to pop LP. And that's going to add us a card back to hand. Yep. Target one face-up monster you control, 1 rock in your guard. Destroy that monster. If you do, add the other one from the graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect once. So what we're going to do, I'm actually going to add Tracer back to my hand. Now we're going to link Brotar off into Pisty. And in that interaction, if you've seen where they pop Striker and add Recharger, you can discard Recharger in the same effect and then special summon Tracer there. Pisty effect's going to activate. We're going to bring back our Tracer. And now what we can do, we still haven't even normal summoned here. These two can make Quad Boral, which is good. We still have to get out our Recharger. So we're going to have to pop a card with Tracer. And with these two here, this is kind of why I like playing Dill. We've already used our Ravine, so we don't need to go into that. So I think what I would do, honestly, I would probably link those two off for Dill. And then Dill, Tracer effect was pop Dill. Let's bring out our Recharger. Dill effect is going to bring himself back out. And now we have Savage. We still haven't normal summoned, which we can normal summon off of these two here. So we are looking really good. And I think for our inboard, because I don't want to overextend, this you could go into your link for Boral Sword if you wanted to, but we can go ahead and summon Chaos Dragon because we definitely want to rip a card from our opponent's hand. So we'll banish Pisty, Elpy, and Absorrouter. That's always a good target. 3 darks to rip a card from our opponent's hand now. And then from here, we will normal summon Chamber Dragon Maid. That's going to add us the Tidying Trap. And we have a lot of options here. We can go into a Chaos Ruler for sure because Quad Boral just requires a dragon and we have that. So let's say we link these 2 off for a Chaos Ruler. We're going to activate Chaos Ruler's effect and we're going to add 1 light or dark monster to our hand after milling 5. And really we're looking for anything. I'm really overextending here. It's probably not as far as I needed to go here. World Legacy Guard Dragon, so that's okay. So off of this, what we're gonna add, I would probably add, no need to grab Gamma here. So I'd probably just grab our Chamber Dragon Maid. These all go to grave. And now what we're looking to make here is just to take this and put it back together and turn it into our Savage or whatever we want to end with. So I'm going to link these 2 off. This gets banished into Quad Boral because he requires a Rokket. That's going to bring me back out my Tracer and Recharger, which is going to make me a Savage. We have Trap set, and this is kind of our follow-up. And then I always look at my extra deck. There's really nothing else that we can go into, that we need to go into. So Quad Boral, I'm going to go ahead and pop himself. That's going to bring out Recharger. And that's going to bring out Tracer. And then we link these 2 for our Savage. Savage effect is going to equip. And we should have Romulus. We didn't go into Romulus, so we'll grab our Quad Boral. Obviously, this is bad. Do not put 3 in a row here. But this is my hand. We'll move my hand up here. So Quad Boral equipped to Savage. And so this is kind of your board, how you're ending up, which is really good. You have, first off, 2 3,000 beaters here, and you can recur them with Saferd. You can banish a light and a dark to bring him back out. You have Seal, you have Savage, and you have the Trap set. So this is going to be a really hard board to break. And keep in mind, when you use the Trap on the following turn, you're going to banish it to special back out your Chamber from hand. Seal, when you tribute himself, you get to special summon any monster, a dragon out from your deck. So you have plenty of follow-up. You still have Boot Sector. We never used Boot Sector, so Boot Sector is still active. So this is going to be a good board and Tracer. I mean, you have plenty of follow-up. So if your opponent decides to break this board or do whatever, you have a lot of follow-up in your deck to keep going and to keep playing and making sure that you take them on the next turn. So that was test hand number 1. Let's do one more test hand with the Dragon Link. All right, we will get into our second test hand. We'll do this one going first, and then I'll do one more going second so you can see what it looks like when you're trying to get Boral Sword out and really what you're getting out there. So, all right, we'll go first one more time here. World Legacy, Absorrouter, Quick Launch, Rokket Synchron, and World Legacy. Actually, I'm not mad at this deck at all. I actually think it's really good. So, first thing that we are gonna do, I would love to save my normal summon for Rokket Synchron to extend, to bring back. I also hate getting hit by hand traps. So it's really up to you how risky you wanna take it. So let's go ahead and normal summon Synchron. When we do that, we get to special summon out our Absorrouter. We're gonna link Synchron off for Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon's effect is going to activate. That's going to add Boot Sector to hand. Then we're going to link these 2 off for a Seal. We always want to go for Seal up top because if we get hit with Nibiru, then this is tributed, so we get to special summon out a dragon. It's a way to just further extend. Absorrouter effect is then going to activate. That's going to add Tracer to hand. So looking really good, I'll be honest with you. Next thing we're going to do is activate World Legacy Guard Dragon. World Legacy will bring back out our Synchron. Then we're going to link Synchron off. Go into Elpy. Now we're going to activate World Legacy Guard Dragon. I'm just gonna move this because we're kind of getting into our plays here. We're gonna activate World Legacy Guard Dragon, and that's gonna target Guard Dragon LP and move it. And then now, because Seal points here and LP points here, we can activate LP's effect. And this, given that this is our hand, we could pitch our second World Legacy Guard Dragon. Or we should probably, instead of going, if you don't want to go the Levenier route, you should probably want to go Chamber. Chamber effect is then going to add the trap. I think that's more important. So we're going to add the trap. And then we can link Chamber Dragon Maid off for Pisty on the other side. Pisty effect is going to activate, and we get to pick who we want to summon back. We'll bring back our Synchron. So we're looking really good here. We have Boot Sector to bring out Tracer. We have a Quick Launch to bring somebody else out. So when I look at this board, I'm like, okay, so I can go Chaos Ruler into Hot Red, these two into Dill, and I still have extension to bring out another Tracer, which is where I would go with this. I already have my trap. So we're going to link our two Guard Dragons off for Dill, because I don't need to go Romulus. I already used Apsa Router. So we're going to go with Dill here. And then we're going to activate Boot Sector Launch. And Boot Sector Launch is then going to special out our Tracer. So now Tracer is going to pop Dill. And that's going to bring out our Recharger. And when that happens, Dill gets brought back. Now we can link these two off into Chaos Ruler. And before we activate Chaos Ruler, here's the reason why. Because when I think about it, right, so I need Quick Launch to bring back out my second Tracer to link these two off into Quad Boral, because then that's going to give me my Savage on top of this, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and activate Quick Launch because I do not want to mill my other Tracer off of Chaos Ruler. That was just the reasoning for that, thinking about that. So there's Tracer. Okay. So obviously that is on Synchro Summon, his effect. So you would want to have used Quick Launch before you brought out Chaos Ruler. I mean, you would have been fine either way, but you know, just that's just a little heads up play there. I just wanted to mention to you. So now Chaos Ruler, we'll say we Synchro Summon Chaos Ruler's effect. That brings out Brotar, Chaos Space, Ash, and Synchron. So this is really good. Chaos Space Engrave is really good, and Omni Engrave is really good because if anything is destroyed by card effect, it can summon itself. So we're going to grab our Synchron off of that, which is going to be great follow-up because when Synchron is normal summon, he can bring back a Dark Dragon, period. Chaos Ruler, Boral Savage, any of those Dark Dragons, he can bring back on a normal summon, so it's great follow-up there. We can link these two off, our Tracer and our Dill, into Quad Boral. These two get synchroed off into Hot Red. And then Quad Boral effect is going to pop himself. And that's going to bring out our Tracer and our Recharger. We're going to synchro those two off for a Savage. Savage effect is going to activate. We're going to equip Quad Boral to Savage. And we are going to set our trap. So this is what we're looking like for follow-up, which is really busted. So again, I like playing and keeping Boot Sector on the field as much as possible. So in this turn, we're going to shuffle. We still have the trap, which is then going to bring us back another chamber. We have Omni Negate with Savage, a Bounce with Seal, we have a Hot Red Negate with Boot Sector if our board gets broken. And then not to mention Synchron for even more follow-up in our hands, and World Legacy Guard Dragon. So honestly, so this is like a really busted in board. Your opponent, we drew Driver, doesn't matter though. Your opponent's not playing through this. There's no way. We can still bring back Chaos Ruler because we didn't use the effect. Dill would be banished. We could actually use Chaos Space's effect to shuffle Dill back into the deck, but I don't think that's needed. And we have Brotar Engrave. So if a card is destroyed by card effect, we get to bring back our Brotar, which is then going to search us our Levy. So it's really sick. We can just pitch Driver off that. I mean, Really broken hand here. All right, so let's do a going second, get out our Borosword boss monster, and go from there. All right, so our goal going second is I'd like to try to get a seal up top, because seals always protects you. We want a Borosword for OTK, and still want the trap, and you know, typically savage if you can. So let's just see what we can get out here. Let's go ahead and draw 6, because again, we're going second. Phantasme, which actually would have been a sick hand trap, to be honest with you. Ash Blossom, which is great. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's what we're looking at. So this is actually really good. It's hard to, it's easy to see it now and to make a decision on like how to play. But I don't know if I would have used Phantasme, used an Ash or whatever, because why that matters is because opening Chaos Space, I would definitely pitch Phantasme over Seyfert. That's just my opinion. So if we didn't use Phantasme, which the chances are we probably did, but then I would have more cards in my hand and I probably would have put back one of my Ashes here. You see what I'm saying? So that's gonna, Chaos Space is gonna grab us our white dragon. I'll banish old Phantasme, summon out our white dragon, and then we're gonna link into Striker Dragon. Then we're gonna chain 1 white dragon, chain 2 striker. Those are just my chains. You can, I know that it was chain 1, but it was right there on my deck, so I'm just grabbing it now. And then we grab Boot Sector Launch. Okay, so from here we're gonna banish our white dragon, special out our black dragon. You guys have seen this combo. And then banish Chaos Space, put white dragon back at the bottom of the deck, and we are going to shuffle. And cut. And draw. A quick launch. Broken. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to link these 2 off for our seal. Now we're going to get Black Dragon's effect, which is then going to search us out our white dragon. So we're comboing, and we still have 7 cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is Dragon Link for you. It's absolutely insane. All right, so going from here, we have seal. We're trying to get to our same plays, which is going to be obviously, we want to get into our guard dragons, LPs with strikers. So that's really where we're trying to go from here. We could go into Romulus, which is Romulus is then going to search us our Dragon's Ravine, and we're pitch tidying off that to go into chamber. So looking at this board and what we have to offer, we still haven't normal summoned. So looking at this, I would probably from here go into guard dragons, which we have a normal summon and a quick launch here. So that is pretty good. We could bring back Phantasme. No need to really do that. So we can go ahead and normal summon Seyfert. I'm actually going to Seyfert effect pitching white dragon. And then that is going to add me a tracer to hand. So Seyfert effect pitches white dragon, which was dead in our hand anyway. Adds tracer to hand, which is good for boot, because now I don't have to go into Romulus. And then we're going to activate quick launch. Quick launch is going to bring out, I want to bring out Synchron because we're going to need one in grave, just in case. We can link Synchron off for our LP. And then we're going to link Seyfert off for our striker. Now we're going to activate LP effect. This is actually going to be really good. And we're going to bring out Chamber. Chamber effect's going to activate. And that's going to search as a second trap. Now we're going to striker, pop LP. And then that's going to add us a rokket back to hand. We're going to add Synchron back to hand. Now we're going to link Chamber Dragon Maid off for our Pisty. And to activate Pisty effect, we can bring back Phantasme, or we can bring back any of these. It doesn't matter, to be honest. We can bring back Chamber here. All right, so now where we're at, we've already used Striker effect. We have 3 pieces here to go into our sword. We do have our trap, and we have Synchron. We've already done our normal summon, but Boot Sector gets these two out, which is going to be really good because then Tracer can get us our Recharger, which is Savage. So when I look at the puzzle here, right, I look at these two as Savage, and this right now, Boot Sector, this is our Boral Sword. So we actually already have full combo, and I don't want to overextend, so I'm going to activate Boot Sector Launch, bring out Tracer and Synchron, and then I'm going to link 4, which is these 4 right here. Which I'm actually going to take a look at what we actually have here, because there's probably a better way than going into Sword out the gate. And that move, honestly, is probably by linking these two into Quad Boral. The reason why you want to do that is because, or to Dill, because you want to get link 2s or more into the grave, obviously. That was supposed to be Quad Boral there. So for follow-up on Quad Boral, because Quad Boral is going to pop himself once we do that. Then I'm going to go ahead and link these two off into Dill. Tracer Effect's going to pop Dill. That's going to bring out Recharger. And then because we specialed Recharger out, that brings back Dill. So now this right here is your sword. Quad Boral brings back for Savage. So we're going to link Dill, Tracer, and Recharger off into our Boral Sword. And then Quad Boral Effect's going to pop himself, which Dill would be banished here. And that, because Quad Boral popped himself, brings back these two. Now we're going to synchro those two off into our Savage. Savage Effect is then going to equip Quad Boral. So as you can see here, we have this really strong board. Put those up here, which is Seal to Bounce, Boral Sword for OTK, and our Savage, which is a 3000 Boot Sector for follow-up, Trap for follow-up, which is then going to bring us another chamber. So this is your going second board, which is really, really good as well. And I don't see your opponent lasting through this. There's just no way. And keep in mind, on your opponent's turn, Seal Bounce, obviously. I just like to keep Seal. It's just such a good one. And we draw World Legacy Guard Dragon, which is even more broken. So yeah, there you go. That is the going second. Dragons are take a lot of patience, a lot of, knowing what you're going to do and different moves like that. So that is my version on Dragon Link, and I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. This has been Tyler, House of Cards TCG, signing out.